Hello. Today my discussion is on global warming, climate change. Actually, the outcome of climate change is not looking good. Drought, famine, loss of species, and issue of water, new diseases, many problems and many outcomes of global warming and climate change. For me, I could imagine 10 plagues of the Bible. In the Old Testament, we read 10 plagues in Egypt. So that is what comes to my mind. So it is not a biblical story alone. Biblical story is an archetype and it is being repeated in every period, every age, every epoch, every time. So, blood, frogs, flies, livestock, locusts swarm, rivers turn to blood, fire rains from the sky. The 10 plagues of Egypt are described in Exodus, the book of Exodus, chapters 7 to 11. At first sight, one might imagine that the plagues took place in succession within a few weeks, but causal notes of time, as well as the nature of some of the plagues, would suggest that several months, even several years, may well have been involved. It is clear that the plagues increased in severity and intensity until the climax came in the death of the firstborn. The 10 biblical plagues seem to be recurring, happening again, right now. And the more we seek answers, the more we question our own beliefs. We must uncover the truth because the plagues are counting down and time is running out. What we do know is that we are witnessing biblical events. God sent the plagues as warnings to the Pharaoh to let his people go. What is he supposed to be saying now? The Pharaoh's sorcerers used magic to match God, plague for plague, evil against good. Perhaps we should look for more sorcerers to deal with the existing ecological and environmental problems. Because the politicians, the 7 billion people, are not doing anything to combat global warming and climate change. Probably bring out some sorcerers, magicians, maybe Mickey Mouse from that famous movie, the Mickey Mouse. He was a sorcerer's apprentice. So maybe Mickey Mouse can help. In 1400 BC, a group of nervous Egyptians saw the Nile turn red. But what they thought was blood, but was actually an algae bloom which killed the fish, which prior to that had been living off the eggs of the frogs. Those uneaten eggs turned into record numbers of baby frogs, who subsequently fled to land and died. Their little rotting frog bodies attracted lice and flies. The lice carried the blue tongue virus, which killed 70% of Egypt's livestock. The flies carried glanders, a bacterial infection, which in humans causes boils. Soon after, the Nile River Valley was hit with a 3-day sandstorm, otherwise known as the plague of darkness. During the sandstorm, heat can combine with an approaching cold front to create not only hail but electrical storms, which would have looked to the Egyptians like fire from the sky. The wind would have blown the Ethiopian locust populations off course and right into downtown Cairo. Hail is wet, locust leaf droppings spread both on grain and food. And you got mycotoxins. Dinner time in Egypt meant the firstborn got the biggest portion, which meant they ate the most toxins. So they died. These are the 10 plagues, and these are 10 scientific explanations. They are as follows. The first plague, water turned blood, red algae, fish die. So today, in our own situation, we encounter plenty of water-related problems. Should see Yangtze River, Brahmaputra, Ganga, Yamuna, all those rivers polluted, full of algae blooms in some of the rivers. They look like blood. Sometimes they look like brown, colored water. They no more look like real blue waters, because these waters carry effluents, fertilizers, pesticides, industrial effluents, and household pollution stuff, everything these rivers carry. So today it is being repeated, the biblical, the Nile turning red is being repeated in our own life situation. Number 2 plague, frogs. Too many, not enough food. Death and stench. All the frogs died. And only stench. Smell, bad smell. And today in some places, because of industrialization, because of high economic growth, we have destroyed everything. We go and stench. And people, they don't live in healthy conditions, very bad. And hunger. We have factories, tall buildings, we have airplanes, we have ships, and we have technology. We have got computers, we have got cell phones, but we can't eat them. We need food, hunger. Number 3rd plague, gnats biting humans and animals. New diseases today, that is what we see. The new pathogens, new viruses, we don't know where they come from. Like biblical gnats, as they bit humans and animals, the same thing is happening. Mosquitoes are all on the rise, and you kill one mosquito and you get 100. You kill 100, you get 1,000. So mosquitoes have developed a high skill, the survival of the fittest, and they can do anything today. And the 4th plague was flies. Flies in pharaohs and official homes, lot of flies. So today, because of drought, lot of flies. There is nothing, there is no water to sit down, there is no vegetation, there is no food for them. They come and sit on humans. If you go to Australia, those flies come and sit on your face. You can't even get rid of them. They are like plastic. So today a lot of flies, sickness-causing flies are on the rise. And the 5th plague was livestock disease, they all die. Horses, herds, all die. So today the livestock is not doing very well, and they don't eat grass. All the livestock farms, they have livestock feed. Actually cows, they like grass, but they don't give grass. They give brown feed on which they harness milk. And lot of animal diseases are out there. Must have heard about that is the brain uh, cow disease. You must have heard about cow brain or brain cow disease some 10-15 years back. That meat was contaminated, and people, those who eat the meat, they got that disease. And today animals just raised in a very, very bad conditions, and all those accumulations of chemicals from the feed, they all go into the flesh, and while we eat, we are getting that. Like new disease like anthrax and other nameless diseases. The sixth plague is pestering boils on humans and animals. So our immune system is becoming weak because of global warming. Lot of sicknesses are on the rise, and skin diseases, especially ozone layer is damaged, and ultraviolet rays come from the sun, and lot of cataracts, eye disease, a lot of skin diseases, lot of diseases on vegetables and fruits. So it's a global warming. They're like a festering boils on humans and animals. In Egypt, almost 4,000 years ago. The seventh plague was thunder and hail. Fire came down on the earth. And today, humans are known to make nuclear weapons. And war, war, war. Everywhere there is war. And I thought we have said goodbye to war in 1970s, but now everywhere the war is going on, they are planning out more nuclear weapons. Thunder and hail, fire came down on the earth. It's a new kind of plague. And the eighth plague is locust, eating crops settled on the land. So the Ethiopian locust during the biblical times came, they ate, they left droppings in the food. That food was eaten by the Egyptians, and that caused death. So today, because locust, not only locust, the pests, the insects, the bad insects come and eat the agricultural crops. Most of the agricultural productivity is declining. Almost 30% has declined already. Very sad to know about. So already, because of these insects and because of these parasites, the agricultural product is going down. So famine. And the ninth plague was darkness 3 days. That's what we read in the Bible, 3 days. So today we can explain the dimming, the global dimming because of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere like carbon dioxide, smog, fog, water molecules, aerosols, and methane, nitrous oxide, bad ozone, chlorofluorocarbons, halocarbons. There are so many items filled in the atmosphere. And slowly the earth is probably is going to face global dimming. So maybe the sun's rays may not be allowed to come through the atmosphere to fall on the surface of the earth. So such a thick atmosphere is like a blanket, building like a huge blanket. So biblical 3 days darkness, only 3 days in the Pharaoh's time, probably here 30 years of darkness. So outcome will be much larger than biblical plague. Last one is 10, every firstborn shall die. That is Pharaoh's son. He died. So I think extinction of human species is inevitable from this global warming, climate change. There have been 5 mass extinctions happened in the history of our planet: Ordovician, Devonian, Permian, Triassic, and Cretaceous. This is the last 6th mass extinction is upon us, and the previous mass extinction is about sometimes fishes, sometimes amphibians, sometimes reptiles, sometimes mammals. sometimes microscopic bacteria, but sometimes dinosaurs, but the sixth mass extinction is about only one species, Homo sapiens. Anyway, 10 plagues are not only the historical events, but they are recurring. They are happening again in our time. 10 plagues in the form of hunger, famine, disease, war, human activities still continue to haunt every country on planet Earth, and we are not doing anything. Only the summits are happening, and the national leaders, they go in their own planes and they go and sit down there and write something on the paper, and they bring out to their country, and they promise that they are doing something, but nothing is happening. And high economic growth is going on. That is a mantra of our civilization and our culture. So nothing is happening, and carbon dioxide per volume 409. Already we have reached, I think 350 was the borderline. That was back in 1980s, but we are in 2017. 409 parts per million carbon dioxide. So I think the plagues are happening right now. They are going to be intensified very, very soon. So watch out. Goodbye.